special day. Today is a very special day because we're going to be doing something different today, right? Today, I'm just going to chat. We're just going to chat because today is day 19. Okay. For the past, for the past, for the past 18 days, okay, for the past 18 days, I have been trying to be sure that I'm connected online before I start, and I don't end up talking to myself because sometimes it can happen, and I don't want that to happen again. Okay. Okay. Great. Great. Hello. So today is day 19 of sharing digital product ideas that start from home, or basically showing you small business ideas, right? That you can start creating from home, or small business ideas that you can start from home. But today I want to talk about something. I want to just have a chat with you. This is going to be low effort. This is going to be, when I mean low effort, like I'm literally not going to edit this. We're just going to talk one on one, okay? And I needed to give you a background of how it all happened, how my life changed, literally, okay? How my life changed. And I thought to share this part with you so you understand why I have a passion of um why I have a passion of sharing these digital product ideas and showing you that you can start your digital business with a very low budget and you can scale from there. Because when I tell you I am living from I am telling, when I tell you that everything I say and do is from lived experience, and this experience spans over 7, 8 years, okay? Just understand where I'm coming from. And I am saying this because I want to speak to that stay at home mother, that woman, that expert wife, that students that are looking to start something of their own, rather, that are looking to start something of their own but are feeling stuck and overwhelmed. Okay. I want to reach out to you. I want to speak to you just so you understand that I see you, I understand with you. I have been there. I am creating this information, or I am putting this information and sharing this information with you because I wish somebody had this kind of information available to me about 8 years ago, right? It would have saved me a lot of money, a lot of time, overwhelm. That feeling of overwhelm and confusion and uncertainty is something that you really don't want to find yourself in, because it could give you sleepless nights, it could drain you mentally, and we don't want that, right? So, yes, I've been there. Whatever stage you are right now, especially if you're at that point where you feel overwhelmed, or you feel, what's the word now? You feel overwhelmed, or you feel, um, trying to get something. You feel overwhelmed, or you feel stuck. Okay, I've been there. Okay, and that's why I am sharing, this, trying to get something on, and I don't know why it's not and I tell you that this is going to be straight up from the camera rolling. This is exactly what I mean, because for some reason, my notes is not coming on right, even though I'm saying this off the back. I want, to be structured so you don't end up staying here all through. So just give me a moment to try to see what is happening here. Yes, that's my hand in front of the camera. Let me see. Just some disconnection going on here, and I don't like that. Okay, I think I'm good now. So let's get right into it because, of course, I want this to be as very brief as possible. But I needed you to understand the background and I needed to show you that it is possible. Okay. What if I told you that one simple Canva template that cost me less than $10? When I tell you less than $10, I mean, I think I got that template for about $8 or $9. I know for a fact that it was less than $10. That Canva template that cost me less than $10 completely changed the direction of my life. And I am going to be telling you what I mean. It completely changed the direction of my life. Not because the template itself was magical, not because I downloaded it and suddenly, started making thousands of euros, not because I downloaded it and suddenly started making thousands of euros. Okay? No, that was not the case. Give me a moment. One of my settings is just off today. I'm gonna get you. There you go. If you're stopping by, if this is your first time, joining me, please say hi. Okay, please say hi. Say hi. Thank you for joining. Today is a beautiful day. I refuse to get frustrated at this. Well, that's fine. I mean, this could happen, right? So it goes this way, but then this and this. I wanted to show you something, but for some reason, it's not coming up today. Okay, so I'll just, we're just going to go right into it. Now, as I was saying, not because this template was magical, not because I downloaded it and suddenly started making thousands of euros, but because that one product, okay, that one Canva template intros that one Canva template introduced me to an entirely different way of doing business. Okay, it showed me that I could create something once, sell it more than once, and build a business from home without constantly worrying about inventory, packaging, shipping, and all the other logistics that comes with physical product and all the other logistics that comes with physical products. And let me tell you why these products changed my life. When I started Etsy, okay, I opened my first Etsy store about 8 years ago. And I started Etsy selling physical products. So I was making physical products. I was making home decors with macrame. So think of all those trendy macrame designs. So think of the macrame what are those things I used to make now? The macrame wall designs, okay, the macrame hammock and all that. I was selling that and I was doing good. The business was growing, so I was selling macrame home decors, right? I was selling ornaments made with macrames. I was also selling jewelries. Okay, I was selling handmade jewelries, and I even dabbled into making raisins. I even dabbled into making products using raisins. So think of the cup, the flower holders, the pot holders, what's it called now? I sold a couple of candle holders, I sold a couple of jewelry hangers, I sold keychains made from scratch using raisins. Okay, so this is how deep I was into the whole making handmade product and selling on Etsy. When I started on Etsy, I was really deep into selling physical products. Okay. And these physical products I made myself from scratch. And then I would make that, and then I would make that. I would also try to handle delivery time. I would also try to handle that the order is made right on time, ready to meet up the delivery time. I would also think of the whole shipping dynamics, think of shipping logistics, labeling. You can imagine the whole process I was going through. Even though the business started to pick up, it was taking a toll on me because I mean, think of timing, think of timing, think of the feeling of overwhelm because this is a one man business. It was just me running, the business. Of course, my husband was handling the back end of the business, talking about the administration and all that, which he still is handling that part of my business. Thankfully so, right? But then making a physical product, trying to keep up with delivery timing and all that was taking a toll on me. And I realized that I wasn't ready to continue. But I did not want to stop. I did not want to stop, you know, that part of the business. I did not want to stop that part of the business. Right. So I needed something, I needed a shift. And then I got to know about digital products. Looking back now, that small purchase, okay, was the beginning of something bigger. Looking back now, I am thankful that I encountered that $8 Canva template because that was a start of because that was the beginning that was the beginning of something bigger, right? And so in this video, I want to share how I discovered the digital product. I want to share what happened after I started, the mistakes I made, why I believe that one small decision can change the direction of your life and your business. So if you are in that position or if you are in that place where you are thinking of what to do with yourself right now, hang in there. This video is for you. When I started thinking about, when I started thinking seriously about building a business, I knew that I wanted something I could do. I knew that I wanted something that I could do from home. I mean, because I wanted to try something that, well, not just necessarily what I could do from home, because my first business, remember, was me working from home. But I knew that I did not just want something from home. Okay. I knew that it was not just about doing something from home. I wanted something that I could easily create and manage, especially when it comes to shipping, order delivery time, and all that. I wanted something I could easily manage and something flexible from home. I wanted an online business, which of course I already started, but I wanted something creative, flexible, and something that could eventually grow with me. Because at the time I started my first business on Etsy, selling physical products, we had a very small family. We had just us. I mean, it was just me and my husband. But then COVID, co- but then COVID happened. What do you say? But then the COVID, but then the pandemic happened, COVID happened, and I knew it was time. It was obviously time to scrap out the whole physical product business. Okay. So, yes, at the beginning, I sold physical products. And honestly, I learned a lot from that experience. I understood the whole um, meeting up with customer timing, communicating with customers, and all that. I understood a lot from that experience. I learned about finding products, communicating with customers, processing orders, pricing, packaging, marketing, you know, the whole business cycle of a business, right? But as my family grew, or rather, but as our family grew and my responsibilities increased, the physical product model began. The physical product model became more difficult for me because I could not keep up. Because I could not keep up. You know, there was inventory to manage, there were products to buy before I could sell. And remember, it was about the COVID season. So shipping, buying of physical product was quite not something that would happen smoothly. There was packaging, delivery, shipping, sometimes dealing with product that did not sell as quickly as I expected. And I spent thousands of euros trying different things. Okay. I spent thousands of euros trying different things, buying product, working through logistics, setting up platforms, and figuring out what worked. Yes, some things worked, okay, but a lot of things did not work. And some things taught me very expensive lesson. Eventually, eventually, I needed a business model that matched the life I actually had and the life I was dreaming about. Not the life I imagined I had. I wanted a business model that will fit exactly my life. I needed something I could create, as a mother. I needed something that would help me be present as a mother, as a wife, that will make motherhood, building a business, and managing family responsibility and everyday life. I just needed something that would, fit into the dynamics of my life at the time, right? And that right there. Let me check, let me get something up. That right there was the moment of truth. Okay, that right there was the moment of truth. Let me go. I'm trying to look for something. And that was the moment of truth, right? And while then I went into the whole rabbit hole of searching for options, I saw a couple of business ideas. Yes, I saw drop shipping. And because I started my online business selling physical products, okay, drop shipping was beginning to make sense to me, but I did not want that. It made sense, but it did not fit into the picture I had at the time. I did not want that for me. I wanted to try something different. I wanted something that I can easily create and build and sell. And that was when I started learning about Canva digital products and PLR products. Now, that is it. I discovered the existence of PLR products and my life changed for good. PLR basically stands for Private Label Rights. PLR stands for Private Label Rights. In simple terms, PLR product is a product that someone has already created and sells with a particular license. This license, in most cases, allows you to resell the products, okay, as their own or as your own. So, depending on the license, that is why you have the PLR and also the MRR. Now, depending on the license, okay, depending on the license, you may be allowed to edit the product, rebrand it, customize it, and sell the finished product under your own brand. But it is very important to read the specific license because every seller's terms can be different. Every seller's terms can be different. So it is important to read the specific products, okay, and understand the license so you don't get into any legal trouble. So for me, I discovered But for me, discovering PLR product opened my eyes to a lot of things. I started seeing planners, journals, trackers, worksheets, templates, all kind of all I started seeing all kinds of digital I started seeing all kinds of resources that could be customized in Canva. And guess what? Using the free Canva account. I did not have to pay for a Canva Pro to customize these templates. So you can imagine how happy I felt when I discovered that product. I remember thinking, so I remember thinking, so I do not have to, I remember thinking that I did not have to start creating every product completely from a blank page. So you can imagine me, I began thinking, my eyes was open. That Canva template opened my eyes because I got to see that I did not have to create every single product from a blank page, completely from a blank page. I all I needed to do is take a basic temp all I needed to do is take a basic template, improve it, change the color, rewrite, change the color, rewrite part of it, rearrange the pages, add my own ideas, basically make the product or the template my own, right? And turn it into something created for a specific, and then turn this template into something specific for a customer. My mind was blown away. Because trust me, if you do not know, you do not know. If you don't know, you don't know. Knowledge is indeed power. So, this is me 3 years into starting my online business, burning money, resources, time, struggling with the whole delivery dynamics that I was not ready for. Because, of course, people can handle that. People with big warehouses, right, can handle that. But I could not. I was not ready to run businesses like that. However, there was something I could do from the comfort of my home that will allow me the flexibility to be present for my children, for my husband, and for myself. And that is when my eyes opened. That one template, that one Canva template for less than $10 changed my life completely. And that changed everything for me. So I bought one simple I bought one simple Canva template for $8 and started experimenting. I opened Canva. I watched a lot of YouTube channels, of course, and I began changing things. I changed the font, I changed the color, I rebranded the cover pages. I just did things to reflect my brand and my personality. I removed what I felt was not necessary. I I removed what I felt was unnecessary. I rearranged the pages. I added what I believed would make the product more useful. Basically, I just rebranded the templates because that is the whole idea with PLR and MRR products. You have to rebrand it to make it your own. I added what I believe would make that product useful. So when I picked a planner, I made sure I modified the planner, added things, rearranged it, repackaged it, added extra pages if I needed to, change the color to my brand, right? Change the font, and I started selling planners, trackers, journals. That is how I started. That is how my journey into selling digital products started. And I got to also know different ways you could package digital products. You could sell it as a bundle, you could sell it as a template, right? You could also sell it as a hyperlinked digital product. My eyes was opened to different ways I could sell that single Canva template. And guess what? The template I got at the time was all these Canva templates that had lots of templates in it. Okay. That in itself was overwhelming because the products were, because the templates was a lot. It was not categorized or niche, so it was quite messy. But that also taught me something. It opened my eyes to know that anyone out there would appreciate a well streamlined, categorized, and niched down templates. And I also created that option. You can get it in the link in the description. So let's say you want to start selling templates. Let's say you want to start selling planners, trackers, journals, right? And instead of grabbing all those templates that gives you about 50,000 Canva templates, which is overwhelming, is almost impossible for a human to use up all those templates. I created niched down, categorized planners and trackers such that if you want to build your business around finance, which is a growing niche, by the way, you can grab budget tracker, budget planner, saving tracker, saving planner, saving journal, money journals. You get, and start selling in your store. And these products, of course, do have the right to resell. I have included the license. So when you buy these planners and trackers, you are allowed to sell it as your own. But what you are not allowed to do is to sell it the way it is. So you are going to be getting different bundles, say 10 trackers or 10 planners as a bundle. You're not allowed to sell that bundle itself, but you are allowed to sell the individual products. Okay. And that is a smart way of filling up. And that is a smart way of filling up your digital store. So, yes, that is what did it for me. That first product did not instantly make me rich. Of course, remember, that was a product that opened my eyes to that was a product remember that was a product that opened my eyes and introduced me to the whole digital product world, so that first so of course, as expected, that first product did not instantly make me rich. Fair enough. Fair enough. I repeat, that first product did not instantly make me rich. Let me make it very clear. There was no, let me make this very clear. I needed to make this very clear. There was no overnight success, okay? There was no moment, there was no moment where I uploaded one template, went to sleep, and woke up to thousands of euros. That never happened. But I kept exploring, I kept experimenting, I kept trying new things, and I kept filling up my shop with products. And eventually, I started selling. That was it. And the amount from the first few sales was not and the amount from the first few sales was not the most important. The most important part was the proof. Okay. Someone I did not know had so see, the most important part was not that I made my first digital sale or that I made my first digital product sale. That was not the most important part. It did not matter to me at the time that I made my first product digital sale, or rather that I made my first digital product sale. What mattered most to me was that someone I did not know had something I created, and they decided that it was useful enough to them to pay for it. That it was useful enough to pay for. That was the moment something shifted in my mind. And that was when it was very clear that I could create something from the comfort of my home and deliver it to the buyer without having to go to the post office, without having to think of the delivery guy, the tracking details. All I did was create everything using my computer, and the product sells itself. And the product sells itself basically. Now tell me about passive income style business, right? Exactly how I felt. That is when I knew that, oh, okay, this is possible. I can create something from home and I upload it online. Someone in another city, in totally another country, can purchase it, and the product can be delivered digitally without me packaging or shipping or or shipping anything. And that I can take what I learned from that product and use it to create another. You can imagine the excitement. Okay, the product was delivered digitally without me packaging or shipping anything. And that is not all. I can take what I have learned from creating that product and use it to create another one. And you know the saying, perfection comes with execution. The more you do it, the more you build it, you get better and better and better at it. And that's right it. And that right there is exactly how it started for me. Exciting, right? Now that I'm like retelling the story, it's just I'm so excited. So yes, I continued. I created more products. I experimented with different designs, different niches, different product ideas, different platform. Yes, I got to the point where at this time I was like 4 or 5 years into my online business. And I got to the point where I wanted to spread my wings and begin to build something of my own. And so I began to understand the business. I began to understand the business dynamics of building a digital product business, right? And then I started creating and started selling on other platforms apart from Etsy. Of course, not every product sold. Some took me a long time to create and received very little attention because you can imagine that I was experimenting and trying different things. Okay. Some of my ideas were good ideas, but they were not necessarily good products for the audience I was trying to reach because at a point I needed to decide my target audience. Okay. And then figure out a way to build around it. But with every product, I was learning. With every product, I was learning. And this is what I was really learning. The more I created and sold, the more I started understanding the back end of an online business. Okay. Remember that My first business on Etsy was a physical product business. But then there was this dynamics that had to do with digital product business. So I started learning the back end of a digital product business. I learned that creating the product is only one part of the business. And like I tell my students, if you have not started your digital product yet and you are thinking of how to start, I would always suggest start on platforms like Etsy. And this is because Etsy already has the back end handled. Okay. Now, when you get into Etsy or when you start selling on Etsy, apart from creating the products and apart from creating the products and making money, you also get to learn the business dynamics of running an online business, because at the end of the day, Etsy is an online business. It's all on the digital or online platform. Okay. So there is more to just creating the product. There is the back end part of the business. And with Etsy, you get to understand, oh, this is how it happened. This is what I need to do. And with time, you get better at it. You also need to understand who the product is for, who your market audience is, and you need to know what product you need to also know what problem your product is solving. You need to present it properly. And if you have been following the videos, my previous, if you have seen my previous videos, okay, where I get to create digital products from scratch and I literally show you how to do it. One of the most important part of that process is creating your product photos, what we call the listing photos. That is a way that you can present your product properly and also give it the right title. These are the things you get to understand with the business. So I began learning all those things. I learned the dynamics to it. I learned the back end, the front end. So, yes, you need a good this means that you need a good product image, you need clear description, you need to understand what an SEO optimized keywords is. You get you need to understand what an SEO optimize or what SEO optimized keywords are. You need to understand keywords, pricing, customer service, digital delivery, and how the platform you are selling on works. This will help you in the long run, especially when you get to the point where you feel that you're ready to start hosting your product on your own platform. I have multiple platforms where I sell my product. I have my website where I host my product apart from Etsy, of course. And my first experience on Etsy has helped me to be able to navigate and manage other arms of my businesses. So, yes, it is beyond creating the product, there is more to it. And that is why I have also created a community where we come together, okay? We provide store audits. We try to understand where you are at and how I can help. You get an opportunity to get a store audit from me. You know, we share ideas, trending products, prompts, just ways that you can grow your business from home. I have also created tools that would also help you achieve smoothly starting your digital product business. And if you are considering doing that, click in the link in the description. You are going to see the coloring pages to profits AI toolkits. Okay, so if you are looking to start your coloring book business, that is something you want to grab. If you are thinking of starting your Etsy store, you don't know where to start from, you need a hand that will literally direct you and show you, and you want all the information put together in one video, I have created a video course to help you set up your Etsy store step by step. Click in the link in the description. You're going to find the link in the description. Grab that link and start creating and open your Etsy store. And if you have your Etsy store and you're looking to start another digital business, grab the coloring pages to profit AI toolkits. The coloring pages to profit AI toolkits and start creating coloring pages now, because trust me, I literally am building a full series that is mostly on coloring pages to show you, first of all, how easy it is to create coloring books from scratch, and also to show you that you can make tons of money just by selling coloring books, digital coloring books. Yes. So look for the series. There's a special playlist dedicated to 30 digital product ideas that you can start creating from home. Go through the playlist, grab one of the videos, follow the process, and start creating now. Okay? S- I built multiple shop on Etsy. I explored different types of products. Through that process, I began to understand how online marketing through that process, I began to understand how online marketplaces work. I also started understanding the importance of systems and structure, especially because I am also working from home. I am a full time stay at home mother and also a full time online business owner. So you can imagine why this is very important. There is a lot of nuances when it comes to understanding systems, especially when you are running your digital product, especially when it comes to digital product business, because you can imagine that when you are running a physical product business, right? You know where you can keep, where you know where to keep your woods or your beads, whatever, or your clothes, whatever it is you're making. But but when it comes to digital product business, now we're thinking of, how do you organize your files? How do you package your product digitally? Okay, you're thinking of, how do you create product image efficiently without feeling frustrated and overwhelmed, especially if you are not a product design guru, right? And then you're thinking of, how do you respond to customers? How do you move from creating random products to building an actual brand? That template might have cost me less than $10, but the skills that I developed after purchasing it became far more valuable than the template itself. And that right there is what changed my life. It was not just the product, it was the person I became while learning how to create, sell, improve, and keep going. And also, it was the peace it gave to me, especially as a stay at home mother. Think of running a business with young kids at home. So you can imagine the dynamics that comes with it. You can imagine that, right? So yes, I got to that point. And then after building different shop, after building different shops and learning how marketplaces worked, I realized that I did not want my entire business to depend only on one platform. I did not want my business to be on Etsy alone, because I mean, anything can happen. There are several cases where we have experienced downtown we have experienced downtime on Etsy, which happens to anyone. It can happen anytime, right? So it was important that I began to explore other options. Marketplaces like Etsy can be very useful to start because customers are already searching for products there. This is one of the reasons why I tell my students and those that are thinking of starting off first, okay? This is why I tell my students, those that are thinking of starting their digital product business, I say start on Etsy because customers are already searching for products there. Etsy has billions of customers that visit the platform every day. So, markets, so marketplaces like Etsy can be a useful place to start because customers are already searching for products there. But eventually, I also wanted a platform of my own. Of course, I knew I was ready. I wanted somewhere I could organize my products, my resources, my courses, my community, and the things I was learning. And so I began building my platform alongside the other platforms I was already using. While at it, I also was creating multiple stores on Etsy because I wanted to explore different sides of because I wanted to experience and explore different sides of Etsy. And what I mean is this: remember, I started selling physical products. I then started selling digital products. And then I started selling print on demand products using Etsy and Printify, right? Why I did this, okay, is also to be equipped enough with the knowledge so that I can help other people, so that I can teach my students, my clients, and I can, solve problems they might eventually be facing in future. And in the coming future on this channel, I am also going to be sharing my print on demand experiences. That's going to come, you know, at a different time. Yes. So yes, I began building my own platform a lot. So yes, I began building my own platform alongside the other platforms I was already using. And I will be sharing about that journey in future videos because it has not been a perfect or straightforward process. Yes, it has not been a perfect or straightforward process. Okay. I'm still learning, I'm still testing things. I've been able to help a couple of people, about 5 people, start their print on demand, journey too. I offer that services, by the way. However, it has not, it has not been a direct journey or a smooth journey. I would think that because I already have experiences setting up multiple stores on Etsy, setting up the whole print on demand business idea or business style using Etsy and Printify, you would think that, oh, that was you would think that that would be very easy to adjust to. No, it had its perks, but we're good now. Of course, I'm still learning, I'm still exploring and trying new things, and I am happy to share. So that will be coming in future. The most important thing is now I understand something that I did not understand when I started. You do not see, you do not need to know everything before you begin. You do not need to know everything before you begin. Sometimes clarity comes after you start moving. Create one product, you learn from it, you improve it, you create another one, you create another one, you make mistakes, you correct them, right? You make mistakes, you correct them. And then one day, just one day, you look back and realize that you have developed skills, knowledge, confidence, independence, and a business that did not exist before you begin. And a business that did not exist before you decided to begin. This right here feels like fulfillment to me. Now, maybe you are watching this because you recently relocated and you're trying to figure out what to do next. Maybe you have started a family and you need something flexible, but you can Or maybe you have started a family and you need something flexible that you can build around your responsibilities. Maybe you are a stay at home mother who wants to contribute financially. I totally understand. You are a stay at home mother who wants to contribute financially, right? Who wants to contribute financially but does not want to sacrifice that, but you do not want to sacrifice being present for your family. Maybe you already have a job, but you want to start something on the side for your own self. You want to start something of your own. I have been there and I totally understand. I had a full time job in the corporate world, but then life happened and it happened for good because I relocated for love. Relocation comes with its Relocation comes with its own, sacrifices and prices you have to pay. And yes, I knew all that. I was ready for that. However, when faced with reality, you still get to the point where you feel the sense of confusion and uncertainty. So I totally understand how you feel. Or maybe, or just, or just, or just maybe you simply feel stuck because there are so many ideas and you do not know which one to choose. I I understand that feeling. Been there, done that. And my message to you is very simple. Start with something, no matter how small or insignificant, and even low budget it is. Just like me, $8, and look at me today. Start with something. It does not have to be expensive. It does not have to be expensive. It does not have to be perfect. You do not need to build a large website because you have created your first product. No, you do not need hundreds of products. No, you do not need, and no, you do not need thousands of followers. And you do not need to understand every part of the business before taking your first step. Choose one audience, one product, one problem, and provide the solution. Choose one platform and start doing the learning. Now, I do not want to give you the impression that digital product requires no work. They do require work. You have to create the products. You will need to learn the process, okay? But I have made it easier for you so that the learning process, the creation will be very easy for you to follow. And that is where I come in, okay? You will need to do the research. You will need to create products that are useful and present them properly. Your first product may not sell immediately, and that is the truth. You may create something you love and later discover that the customer you're searching for, or the customer that you're looking to solve their problem, are actually searching for something else. You may need to change your pricing, improve your listing image, rewrite your description, or create a better version of your already existing product. The point is, don't stop, don't sleep, don't give up, just keep moving. That's the point. That right there is what I have to tell you. But yes, you will do the work. However, with the right tools available and the right support, the process will be smooth, will be easier, and faster. This right here is the part of building a business. The goal is this right here is the part of building a business. The goal is not to avoid every mistake, no. The goal is to make affordable mistakes, learn quickly, and keep improving, right? Why do I feel like I suddenly just have this funny feeling that okay, I suddenly just had this feeling that my microphone was on mute. Thankfully, it is not. As I was saying, the goal is not to avoid every mistake. The goal, the goal is to make affordable mistake. The goal is to make affordable mistakes, learn quickly, and keep improving. Yes, I wasted lots of money before discovering this model that worked better for my life. But even those experiences were not completely wasted because they taught me how a business operates. They opened my eyes to structure, to system, to the back end dynamics of running a successful online business. They taught me about they taught me about customers, products, system, money, and decision making. Your journey may not and decision making. And so your journey may not look exactly like mine, but you will discover what works for you if you remain at the plan. But you will never discover what works for you if you remain at the planning stage forever. You have to open your mind to keep trying new things, making mistakes, exploring, and don't stop creating. You have to keep going on. This is one of the reasons I created the channel. This right here is one of the reasons I created this channel and the 328 inspired digital business community. So if you are watching this video from my personal YouTube channel, this is also an opportunity to introduce my business YouTube channel to you because yes, I have a business YouTube channel where I share strictly digital product and online business resources. So if this is something for you, I am going to be linking, I am going to be putting the link to the channel so that you can follow, so that you can subscribe and then enjoy the resources that I will be creating. Because trust me, the channel is indeed a valuable one. You do not want to sleep on this opportunity. So, yes, this is why I created this digital business. This is why I created the 328 digital business community. I wanted to create a space where women who are building businesses from home can ask questions, share their struggles, celebrate their wins, and learn without feeling as though they have to figure everything out alone. Because no, you do not have to. No, you do not have to. And I also created affordable resources to help you start with more direction than I had. Remember, I said that I spent lots of money, time, plus my mental health was going through it too because I was always feeling overwhelmed, confused, and I was just worrying over things I could not control and things I had very little knowledge about. I have created affordable resources to help you start with more direction than I had. Okay? So for those of you interested in creating and selling coloring pages and coloring book, okay? If you are interested in creating coloring pages and coloring books, I created the coloring pages to profit AI toolkits. Now, what it does is it helps you come up with product idea. It helps you come up with product ideas, develop prompts, plan your products, organize them, and package them for sale. So everything or information that you need to create a sellable coloring books, coloring pages, digital coloring book, you will find in the coloring pages to profit AI toolkit. You would also find over 500 prompts that has been nicely categorized in that has been nicely categorized into prompt packs so that you don't just have random mix of different prompts and scattered or disorganized, okay? I have done the work for you. And for those who want to start selling on Etsy, but you feel overwhelmed by the step, but you feel overwhelmed by the step up. Now, for those who want to start selling on Etsy, right? I don't know. The truth is, I hear my baby, he's waking up, and so I'm beginning to feel a little distracted. And for those who want to start selling on Etsy but feel overwhelmed by the setup, I created I created an Etsy store setup video course that walks you through the process step by step. These resources are not shortcuts to overnight success. This is important to know. They are tools designed to help you reduce confusion, avoid some of the mistakes I made, and begin with a clearer plan. You will find the information and the links in the description below. So, did Canva templates under $10 really change my life? Did a Canva template under, let me take that again. So, did a Canva template under $10 really change my life? The answer is yes. It actually did. As a matter of fact, the template, I would have to go back and check. That template was about $8. Yes, it changed my life, but not because it was a simple template. It changed my life because it helped me see what was possible. It opened my eyes to another business opportunity. It gave me somewhere to begin. It gave me freedom. It gave me an escape route. I needed to start something else. I needed to start something else. I needed to change my business model. I needed something that would not involve me having sleepless nights over shipping, tracking, delivery, and whether the customer got their packages or not. I needed an escape. So, yes, that product changed my life. It gave me the first proof that I could create something, sell it online, and continue building from there. And this is what I want you to take away from this video, from these charts. Okay. You do not need to start the entire staircase before taking the first step. I take that again. You do not need to see the entire staircase before taking the first step. You need to choose something and begin. Just choose one thing and begin. Over 6 years from now, you may look back, not over 6 years from now, you may look back and realize that the small product you created today, the small investment that you have invested today, right? The small product that you created today was the beginning of an entirely different chapter of your life. So, yes, start small, start imperfectly, start with what you have, but start. If this message encouraged you, subscribe to this channel because I'll be sharing more practical digital product ideas, tutorials, business lesson. I will be sharing with you small business ideas that you can start from home with very low budgets. And I would also be sharing honest experiences from my own journey. So, leave a comment below telling me the first digital product you are thinking about creating. I would love to read it. I would love to read it. And thinking about this, it's so amazing that the AI toolkit that I am offering to you is less than $10. You see what is happening there? At the time of making this video, right? This AI toolkit is less than $10. So think of it as your investment, your first investment to starting your digital product business. Let me know what you think. If you have any question, I will be happy to read your questions in the comment section. If there's something you want me to talk about, please let me know in the comment section. If this video has, in one way or the other, challenged you and given you the push, the encouragement, the ginger to start your digital product business, I would also love to know in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.